Welcome to this week's Kristi's Cropping and Creating. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking and subscribing to my videos so that I can continue to reach more people. And please help me grow my subscription base. I have a huge goal for this year. So please like and share with your other crafty friends. They don't have to be scrapbookers, they can be card makers or other paper creators. I am Kristi Boland. I am a Creative Memories Advisor. I live in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I've been doing this for 29 years and I absolutely love what I do. I hope that you're having a great week. I have something pretty unusual today. I'm going to show you a layout with three different collections. I very rarely have more than just a sample made up, and sometimes I don't even have a sample made up. I just show you something from scratch. But I've already done this layout a couple of times with two other collections, and today I'm going to do it for you using our new Noteworthy collection. Today, as we create, it'll be a layout that we could use for birthday parties, really for anything, but I am using stacked presents on the layout. And the colors that I chose, I was thinking more along the lines of a nondescript birthday, like in other words, not a little girl with all the pink and frou-frou, or even a little boy with the tractors and the trucks and things like that. But an adult birthday, whether it's male or female, of course, you could use it for wedding showers and things like that too. But anyway, let me go ahead and spotlight my hands so that we can get started and you can see what we are going to do. Okay, so this was using the Sun Soaked collection, and we're only going to use one piece. Well, when I made the two samples, I only used one piece of designer paper. I did use some other cardstock to make the borders and the photo mats. And then I used one piece of designer paper when I made this one. This is the Happy Together collection. And of course, it is sort of like a Valentine theme. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. It could be an anniversary. It could be anybody that you love, not just a husband or a wife, but any kind of friend, which is why this one has some florals. And yeah, I did put the hearts on there because I absolutely love hearts. My diamond is heart shaped. My mother's ring stones are heart shaped. Y'all probably heard me say that before, and when I signed my name, I even put a heart above the K and above the last I. But I used cardstock for the base of both of these samples. When I create today, I'm going to use designer paper, but don't let that throw you, okay? Because you can use cardstock, obviously, to make the design and to make the other components. I said that wrong. You can use, well, whatever. You can use cardstock as the base and to make the other components, or you can use designer paper. I'm going to use this piece as my main piece. It's got this really fun, just kind of green, almost plaid or square looking design on the back. And then I love the way there's so many colors in this side, and it makes me think of flash photography or fireworks or something that sparkles. I'm not real sure what you would call this side, but that's what I'm going to use as my border pieces. And then this is going to be my background. So it's still very tonal and very muted and subdued. It just brings in some of the greens. And this particular tone on tone paper, you can probably see it almost has like a whitewash looking look to the background as well. So that will add some dimension. And then I'm going to use some blue and dark green cardstock to make some of the other borders. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our paper at 4 inches. This is a 12 by 12 sheet of designer paper. If you do have a directional paper on either side, check it before you cut. However, part of your paper is going to be vertical on one side and horizontal on the other. And if you're only using one piece of paper, then you're going to have to be okay with the fact that, going one way, that's going to be going vertical, and on the other side, it's going horizontal. Now, of course, this is not directional, and neither is this, so it's not going to matter for my paper. But if it does matter for yours, double check it before you cut so that you can cut, making sure the sides or go in the direction that you want them to. All right, after we cut 2 of those at 4 inches, we're going to stack. It makes 3 pieces because you got a 12 by 12 piece, right? So we're going to stack this. I don't know why I just turned that way. We're going to put this on the left, it's at the 3 inch. On the right, it's at 1 inch. And we're going to cut off an inch. Make sure, since you are cutting 2 at the same time, make sure the stack is really nice and tight. And now we have 2 pieces that are 1 inch, 2 pieces that are 3 inches. And we can put these to the side until we're ready to use them. But the piece that's still 4 inches, we're going to cut it into 4-inch squares. So 1, 2, and actually, I'm going to have us make a third cut on this leftover square because 2 of them we're going to use as squares, and this one we're going to use as a journal box. So if I were you, I would make it either 3.5 inches or 3.25 inches. I'm just going to go ahead at 3.5 because I do tend to journal a lot on my pages. And if y'all have watched any of my videos, y'all know that I very rarely add photos during the video. I very rarely make journaling boxes, but it's something that I want to do a little bit better at this year. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and do that. All right, so here's my background pages. And by the way, if you're interested, the back of this is a brown, almost stripe. I do like the shade, but I wanted this more for the green. And I do kind of want these to be going the same way. So let me make sure both of my stripes are going the same way. Actually, I think they're kind of upside down mirroring each other right now, but y'all probably don't even know what I mean because it's probably so hard to see that background the way it is. All right, so one of these pieces, the 3-inch pieces, is going to go vertically on the far left-hand side. One is going to go horizontally at the bottom of the right-hand side, and then the 1-inch pieces, one will go vertically over here on the left, and one will go horizontally over here on the right. And now what I'm going to want to do to help tie these pages together, give it a focal point going across the top, I wanted to make a border. And I really wanted to use the stacked presents. But at first, I thought I might want to do a different border maker cartridge. This is one of our newer border maker cartridges. It came out with our birthday jubilee collection, and it is called Stacked Presents, but we still have square link chain, and this is a it's not used very often, but it is a great border maker cartridge as well. It's got a just a lot of versatility to it. So I was thinking about cutting it with a different color and layering it underneath the stacked presents, but I didn't like the way that went. But I also thought, what if I elevate my stacked presents and put the same color square link chain under it? And then I also thought about anchoring both of them with the dark green going across the top. So I will have a solid strip of dark green with the stacked presents on it, and then the square link chain underneath as if it's elevating the presents. So, and now when I see it put together like this, I'm not quite as thrilled with that dark green. So I might go a little bit of a different direction and just put these directly on the page, but I might still make a thin strip of the dark green to go above and below the presents and the square link chain. So let's just start adhering, and I'm going to place my 1-inch piece 1/4 of an inch from the bottom of the right hand side. What's the word I'm looking for? This 3-inch piece I don't have it adhered yet, but as you can tell, since I don't have my mats out right now, I'm not even measuring, but I'm just assuming that that's about 1/4 of an inch. So that's where I'm gonna place that. And then this other one, I'm gonna go place it 1/4 of an inch from the side. And if I really wanted to, since I don't have out my mats, my 13-inch mats, I could put this side by side like this to make sure I'm going to be placing it at the same place. However, the two borders are not going to be side by side on a layout. So this is really an unnecessary step. I don't even have to measure it to make sure I'm going 1/4 of an inch, except for that I told y'all I was going to go 1/4 of an inch from the side. So that's the only reason I mentioned that I could do that. I may have gone uphill just a tad, but anyway, this one I'm going to put on my left hand side of my left hand page. And again, I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch from the side and move these mats from out from underneath so they won't confuse us. And I'm not pulling out my 13-inch mats right now. I'm just going to do it and hope that I get it straight. This one I'm going to put down at the bottom. I think I put double adhesive at the very bottom of that one side just now. Not that it really matters, except for that I wasted adhesive. So I'm coming 1/4 an inch from the bottom, eyeballing it. You could, in addition to your 13-inch mat, you could always get out one of your wide rulers, either the zero centering or the regular, to see if that is 1/4 of an inch. It's actually slightly larger than 1/4 of an inch, but whatever, it doesn't matter. All right, and then I'm going to use my silicone mat over here to put adhesive on the back of these presents because there are so many holes, and I don't want that repositionable adhesive to get elsewhere on my page. All right, and I'm going to come down more than I normally would because I do think I'm going to go back and cut me a little piece of dark green to go along the top edge here. Place that. Then I'm going to put the square link chain underneath it. And I do want this to really look like this square link is holding up the presents, and it does match up pretty well. And I don't know. I mean, don't don't use both of them if you don't want to. I kind of like it. I kind of think it looks neat. And again, I'm going to put a piece above both of those. Now, when I do this side, my left-hand side, I am going to want to make sure they are in the same place. So make sure you have your left-hand side and your right-hand side directly beside each other so that you are putting them in the same place so that it will look continuous from one side of the layout to the other. I know that y'all can't hear it, but I hear the dog walking around upstairs, and I'm like, what is she getting into? There is no telling, but hopefully it's nothing major. She's probably just walking from one end of the house to the other, and I just happened to hear her at the moment because it got really quiet. My computer was making noise just a minute ago because it's plugged in, charging, but it had quit, and so it got really quiet, and that's when I heard Luna's footsteps upstairs. Made It was a distractor to me, even though I'm sure y'all didn't hear it. Okay, so there's that, and then for our mats, right, one of these is smaller. It's going to be the journal box, and then these on one of my samples, I had um I had one, I believe, that was kind of like this, and then one that was a little bit higher, or vice versa. Maybe it was like this higher and lower. These will hold either a 3.5-inch square photo to have a 1/4-inch mat around the edge, or of course you don't have to do a 4x4. You could do a 4 1/4-inch mat to mat a 4x4 photo. But let's see real quick what kind of pizzazz we can add by doing this this little trim strip. I'm just going to cut this at 1/4 inch and put it above and below both sides. I just think that's going to set it off. It's like it's part of the border, but it's really a fake part of the border since I put the other pieces just directly down. So not only am I showing you a layout with 3 different collections, it's also going to be three completely different borders. Since the one used the scalloped heart border maker chain, this one uses the stacked presents and the square link border maker chains. The first one used the white cap waves border cartridge border. It's a border punch. It's just a standalone border punch. And then this one, I'm not shadowing my design. I'm just setting it off with a little bit of a trim strip, a different color, like this. And the one collection I used sun soaked. The second collection I used Happy Together. And this one is Noteworthy Days. It is a collection that we'll have available all year, like we did last year. We had This Life available all year, and there will be different components through the year that coordinate perfectly with it. And not only will they coordinate perfectly, but the This Life and Noteworthy Days are just so, oh, what is the word I'm looking for? Just so nondescript in it's gonna match any of your pictures anytime, truly. Like you could use any colors and everything is just gonna go absolutely beautifully with this collection. If you don't already have an advisor, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with things that I have here available at my house. And then you can also order for direct ship. And my website is creativememoriescom/user/ I'm going to spell my name for you. KRISTIBOLIN. And of course, if you already have an advisor that you work with, please reach out to them and let them know that you want Noteworthy Days or any of these other items that I am working with. This is going to be my journal box. And of course, I could always turn it to the other side since my paper, my lined paper is going to go over it. Obviously, you can always use variety mats to make your journaling box with. That's a really good way to use the pieces that come in your collection, is to use those variety mats. Obviously, maybe not so obvious, since I'm not adding photos right now, I won't be further embellishing this. But if you're ever looking for ways to go back and embellish and you're just not creative at all, reach out to me and let me see how I can help you with that. I'm gonna make I'm gonna make a set of blue mats and I'm gonna make a set of green. So I'm gonna do this at 4 1/4, and then I'm gonna turn it and cut it at 6 1/4. And I said I'll make a set. I'm not gonna have enough to make a set that's the same size since I did that at 4 1/4 instead of just 4x6. But I will make one of each. Could have cut all of that at the same time. I just didn't think ahead. That would help save my cutting mat as well as my blade. All right, and these that were 4 1/4, I think it would be 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. Yes, so that would be 5 3/4. If I want to use that on here, I certainly can, or I could cut it down to another size. But I'm not going to pull out all the mats right now anyway. I just wanted to show you some different ways to potentially add more color and pop to your pages here. I will pull these out real quick. So I could I could come down onto the base down here. I could move that up some. And so obvious, well, maybe not so obvious. This would be two photos, so they would be overlapping. That would be a 3.5 inch square. You can I could have put these two even like I did on the Happy Together layout, but I can always come down this way and layer this one more up high too. I think I like that a little bit better actually. And then obviously I don't have to do two different colors of photo mats. I could have done them all the same. But there is another quick way to show you this layout that I created with really just the one piece of designer paper to make the photo mats, the journaling box, and then these main border pieces. And it's not your typical mirror image page like I would normally do. I've got the border going vertically on one side and horizontally on the other. And that's that, I guess. So let me switch back here. All right. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. And I hope that you'll watch again next week. If you need to email me, you can do so at kristibolin@gmail.com. You can ask about joining my weekly subscription group. I do those classes on Wednesdays at 7:30, and it is recorded. If you can't watch live, you can always come back and watch later. I try to post a YouTube video on Thursdays each week. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it happens on a Wednesday or a Friday. Sometimes it doesn't happen at all. But I'm trying to be more consistent at getting these out because I love doing them. I love teaching and I love creating and I love helping people with their photos, their most prized possessions, the things that you want to save if there's a hurricane, a flood, or a fire coming. And of course, there's other reasons that pictures mean so much to you, your memories. So take care. Happy cropping, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.